So a few people have asked me how you create skins for Pro Wrestling Sim. Like these. So I'm just going to give you a quick run through, a quick guide. So we'll start with the defaults. So you want to go to your open game folder and skins and make a copy of the default skin and call it whatever it is you want to do. So for this one, I'm going to call it tutorial. Okay, so you open that up and you'll see that you have a list of all HTML codes, and they can be a bit, you might not necessarily know background 0 what it relates to. So we're going to go through, show you what all the codes mean and where they overlay. So the first thing is background 0. What this does is, if I go into here, this black outline, this very thin black outline, which as you can see, because I'm using a smaller picture size, doesn't sit. This is the color code for this image, for this section. 000 is the RGB code for black, and 0.9, that means it's at 90% opacity. So if I want to get rid of that because it doesn't sit right on there, or change the color, there's a site, htmlcolorcodes.com/color-names/, and this gives you all these, and you'll see here these 3 numbers, they're your RGB codes. So you just replace the 0 space with those codes, and you can go through. You've got all the codes that you need. But for the purpose of this video, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to change the colour of it, I'm going to remove it completely. So I'm going to change this. I want opacity to be 0. So change that to 0. Save that. And you do have to come out, change to a different skin, change back to the one you've just done. And if I load that game up now, you can see it's completely disappeared. So that's good if you're using images that aren't a perfect square, like in this save, where I'm using circle images. You don't want a square border around them. So that's what background 0 does. Background 1 is the main panels. So for instance, on this one, let's say we're going to choose lime green, and you can see here it's 0, 255, 0. So we'll go 0, 255, 0. We save that. We go back, change to a different again, change to this one, and you see that. So you know now that the top bar changes from that colour. This bar changes. When you load a game, it's the main panel's background. So background 1 is the majority of your panels, your main panels. So there you go with that one. Background 2 is your sub panels. So see these backgrounds here that go around the relationship bars and these. This is background 2. So for this example, we will change it to pink, fuchsia. So it's 2550255. So background 2, 255, 0, 255. And don't forget, you can change the opacity again. If you want a background image that's nice and easy to see through, you drop the opacity down. But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to go out, change it back in. And you'll see it does your sub panels. So background 2 is your sub panels. Okay. Background 3 is your sub bars, sub panels, and hover over. So if I go into this one and find a nice, I know yellow, so 255, 2550. So 255, 255, 0. Save. You'll see now when I hover over that, it changes to yellow. So that's what that one does. It also changes your border here on your panels that you've just changed previously on background 2. So it changes the little yellow border there, and it does your scroll bar, the colour of your scroll bar, and any greyed out text where you can't click, where it's invalid. So if you go all workers and you try to sign somebody, it also does that text. So that's what that one does. Background 4, let's go for a aqua. So that 0, 255. I'm sure this background 4, is very subtle. It doesn't do a great deal. So if we go back, we'll have to look carefully for that one. So I can't quite tell, I haven't quite figured out what this one does at the moment. But the easiest way to find out is if you use the default skin, throw a lime green, and if you see a bright green or a fuchsia or pink or whatever it is, you'll know what that one does. Colour 0, white, so this one is wrote in text. So all you have to do is use one of these names and just copy it and paste it in as it is on here. And this one is your main text in your game. So all of this white text here, that is covered with this. So if we go, let's say we want a medium purple. So we copy that, paste that, save, come out, settings, select a different one, go back in, load the game up, and you can see here all our text in game has now changed to medium purple. Okay, these don't change, these are done differently. Title, so all your text changes to then that. So that's colour 0. You'll notice now they changed to these hex. These ones are the hash before them. They're hex colours, hex codes. Again, they're on here. And what colour 1 does, this is very small. What it does here is, see these little lines underneath the main headers? That changes these colours. So this little border here, so I don't know, say we're going to change it to white. So that's, I don't know where white is on here, find white. So copy your hex code and just replace it, save. And you have to come back out into your settings, swap over, load the game up. Why has that not changed? Okay, so that one didn't seem to change anything. You'd have to play through, set it as a, like I say, as a bright colour, and you'll be able to flick through. I was saying, and I had that it was these colour divides. Maybe it is, and I just can't see, but it doesn't look like that's what it's done. Okay, but colour 2, let's take this for the whites for now, put this as white. What colour 2 does is that changes the text in the sub borders for relationships and so on. So if I come out now, settings, game, tutorial, load. So all this white text here, this is colour 2, and it's also all the subtext here. If I load up a game that's got some relationships set, you'll see it also does these bars around the relationships, the white bars. So that's colour 2. Button, that's nice and easy. That is literally just the buttons across the bottom, these blue buttons. What colour do you want these buttons? So if we wanted it to be sandy brown, so we've got button hash sandy brown. We take this, replace it, save, back out. You'll see it also changes this back button in the top corner. So we load the game up. It changes your show filters, show expiry and promises. It does them. And then it does all your buttons across the bottom. Button text, white. So again, you're just using htmlcolorcodes.com/color-names/. You change that to any color you want, and if it's wrote in a color, you use the name. So we could have it as black, dark slate gray. So we copy that, and we can put button text as dark slate gray. We can put button hover, that's when you put your mouse over the button and it changes colour. So we could do a reverse. So we could put, when you hover over the button, it changes to dark slate grey for the actual button. So we copy that. And then the button hover over text, we could use white. Save that. So you see now, it's got the dark slate grey, and when we hover it, it goes to white. So that's what those do. Match colour and angle colour. Let's see how many days I've got to a match. 20 today. Okay, so I'll show you that. When you add a match to your card, that's the yellow. It's that colour there, the yellow on the left. So of your drag, it's that yellow there is for a match, and if you add an angle, that greeny blue there to the left, that's your angle colour there. Skill bar is set on a gradient, so you've got two colours. Your first colour here, so I'm going to come out of this. This is your skill bar, so it's two colours, and it fades down from the top down. So what you want to do is choose two colours. So we could choose black, so we'll take the hex for black. We'll put that first there. And what do we want it to fade down from? Black to royal blue. So we just replace that one. And the text in there, if we're using black to blue, we're going to want something nice and easy to see. So we'll have that as white. So we save that. And now you can see you've got a black gradient coming down to blue with white text. So that's all they do. That's your skill bar gradient. So it's your top colour, then your lower colour, and then your text colour. Event colour and alert. Event colour, I forget what event colour is. I think it changes these tabs on the left. So again, it's yellow. So if you want to change these tabs, so let's say we're going to go for what colour are we going to choose? Let's use aquamarine. What event colour? So I'm just going to paste that in and save. Back out. Click it over. Tutorial. Load game. Yeah, so event colour then changes the colour on your tabs here. You have alert, which I'm pretty sure is your red X here. So if we wanted to test that out and you wanted to change that to lavender, copy that, alert, save. You can see that our button here has changed. If you go to all promotions and click your X here, has changed. So I tend to leave that on red. With it being alerts. Okay, below that you have top bar background. That is your very top bar here where it says main office. So again, very simple, you just change it. This one's an RGB, so you're just going to change it to the colours using them. No commas when you're putting it in, just put it in and change that. You've got top bar color, which is actually the text color where it says main office or wherever screen you're on, stable. So that changes the text there. You have match and angle again. I'm not sure what the difference is between match color, angle color, and match and angle. So I tend to leave them because I haven't had to change them in any because they're a pretty decent color as it starts out. Dragging and drop zone. That's simple. That's just when you book your event, you've got the white is the drop zone, and if you go into edit, it's this yellowish color here, the orangey color, and the change. So it's just the drop zone and the drag that changes them colors. Stars, therefore, when you run your show and you get your stars, unless it conflicts with the background, I leave them on gold or yellow or whatever it is that this one relates to. Main background. So on here, main background is set as black and it's got no transparency or anything. So what I do here is I take an RGB and I copy that and I paste it over there, and that allows me to then change the opacity. So if I've got a background picture that I really want to use, I can drop this right down to say 40%, 0.4. If you do want it solid, it's 0 and 1, that's 100%. But for this, I'm just going to change this to black, which is 0, 0, 0. White is always 255, 255, 255. But we're going to go for a black background, which is all the section, the very back here where you see all the black behind all your panels. And we're doing it at 40%. So if we save that. You can see through the background now to whatever background picture you have, and that's just any image that you have on your computer in the game folder called background. That's either a JPEG or PNG, so you can change that to suit whichever you want. So now when I load it up, you can see the background here. You can see it's slightly in these panels, and that's because in the panels that we did at the beginning, they're set on 90%. So obviously if you dropped all these down to 40, you can see how you can see through now on this screen as well, and all your panels are see-through. Now, depending on what colour text and what colour your background is, you may not be able to see it. So again, it's going to be either trial and error or you've got a design in mind. But now you can see right the way through these. So I could actually change colour, medium purple, which is what we put as the font. I could change that to white now. Save. All your text again becomes white, and it's a lot easier to read there now on a see-through background. And as you can see, you can start to read your text again now. Okay, so that's your main background. So I recommend you copy and paste the top section here into that rather than just using a colour name. You then have a secondary menu background, which is this bar across the top. And you have secondary menu text, which is the text colour before you roll over it to the the dark grey and the blue text. You then have your hover over menu background, which is when you hover over it, what colour you want it to be, and your hover over text, so that changes to white there. So that's very easy. I'm not going to go in and change that now. That's what they relate to. It changes when you roll over and so on. You then have heading background. What the heading background is these bars where it says skills and condition. That changes them. So we will change that quickly. We'll go and give that a red, orange red. So copy that. So that, oh, it's RGB. So it's 255 69 0. Save. And the heading text, and now let's say we're going to put orange. Okay, save that. So you can see that they've all changed now to the orange and the orange, what did we say, orange red or orange red, yeah. So that changes those. That's all your bars there, your all your bars here. So it's all like your title bars or your header bars. So that's what that changes. Heading border. Sorry, so this is what as I mentioned before. So that's this little thin line here, this little thin blue line under your header. So let's change that to white here so you can see. Heading border. And this 1 pixel is actually how thick the very thin line is. So if you'd like a thicker line, you could change it. And obviously the bigger it is. So for this one, I'm actually going to change it to a 4 and make it quite thick. Save. Back out. You might notice that the game slows a bit on your load. Oh, so there you go. There's your big thick white line, like your header border. The more you flick in and out of it before you shut the game down, it does take a little longer to load your save up each time, but it's okay, it's not a permanent issue. Okay, so now you've got your big fat white borders there. So that was heading border. You have image background, and what that is I've taken it off on this one. Is this background here. So again, if you didn't want that because you're using non-square pictures, you can actually just take that out and completely delete it if you're wanting it. So let's have a look. If I go to a game, one of these games that uses the square images. Okay, so you see this here. So if I wanted this as it's a radial as well, so you can set it goes from a circle outwards. So obviously this one is your first, is your inner image, and let's change this to a red as well. So tomato. So we're going to go take this code, and we're going to change this part here. Save that. And you see that changes that. So that is image background, and that changes the worker's background when they're unemployed or you're looking at them on this screen. So anyway, where it doesn't display the company logo in the background. We then have skill bar background. I won't jump out to show you this one because this one's, it's just this white background. So where you've got your radial, your skill bar, where was skill bar? So you had your skill bar up here. This one relates to this, and this is just the background from here. So again, you just put your code in there. Model header. That is this black background here, this title bar. That changes that. Negative effects and positive effects. Those are your colours for your morale, so your red and your greens. So, and your red and your greens here. So I tend to keep them as they are. And then overlay text white and overlay background. They are the text here where it says leader. Leader and leader. So to change it, you can see text white. So you could change this to be white. And maybe you don't want it so it's a bit see-through, maybe you want it solid. So you change that to 100% and change the text to black. Let's do new game just because it takes a while to save. So that didn't like that. Because after all that, I didn't change the skin. So remember to change the skin each time. So I thought. That's the other thing your alert does, where you have delete game. It changes that colour. There you go, stable, so it's now solid white because we put that to 100% and it's white, and it does that. And also, as you can see, that image background radial gradient here, that has changed the background on here as well. And there you go, that's how you do update the skin. Fonts, sorry, quickly, you don't need to change the name here. For default, it doesn't show anywhere in the settings or anything, so I haven't seen whether what that's for. But font, you can just type into Google fonts, and anything like this. So let's find something a bit different. This one, you just copy the name of that and replace it there, and you can use any of this off Google Fonts, any of these. We'll put it from dancing script, Okay, save. remember to change out, change back in, and you can see the font's changed. And there you have it, and that's what everything does.